I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
There you go. See, come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror.
Katt, because he told me. He said they're gonna come for you. And I was like, Katt, come on, Katt. I mean, I'm just, you know.
Imagine a world where a comedian's unfiltered thoughts, streamed live from a hotel room, could send shockwaves through a sports legend's multi-million-dollar empire already teetering on the edge of a massive lawsuit. That's not hypothetical. It's the reality ignited when Katt Williams, the razor-sharp comic known for pulling no punches, turned his sights on Shannon Sharpe. What followed wasn't just jokes, it was a viral detonation that fused celebrity, comedy, elite athletics, and high-stakes legal drama into an unfolding saga where every hour adds a new, complex layer. We're diving deep into how one comedian's monologue about a looming $50 million essay lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe didn't just break the internet, it might be rewriting the rules of public perception itself.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart.
The explosion happened just after 11:10 p.m. Eastern, a time Katt casually calls prime insomnia theater. What started as a typical late-night stream with around 4,000 loyal viewers erupted. In just 17 minutes, viewership skyrocketed past 230,000, dwarfing mainstream pop stars and even NBA postgame shows happening concurrently. What caused this digital wildfire? A perfect storm. YouTube's algorithm detected an unusually high retention rate. People weren't clicking away. Simultaneously, notifications went wild as viewers frantically tagged friends. "He's flaming Shannon Sharpe, get in here now." This chain reaction placed Katt squarely at the volatile intersection where comedy's shock value meets society's insatiable hunger for live unfolding drama. By the next morning, clips were everywhere, each slice juicier than the last, forcing network producers into breakfast meetings to figure out how to cover a story that blew up without them.
You know, it is a shakedown, it is a targeted attack, but Shannon needed to have some accountability because he gave them something to shake down. He gave them something to target by making poor choices.
But to grasp why Katt's words hit with such force, you need the backstory. Just 6 weeks earlier, court documents landed filed by an anonymized plaintiff, Jane Doe. The filing detailed serious accusations against Sharpe, stemming from events allegedly occurring over a period, culminating in what her lawyers describe as career-altering violations. The price tag they put on the alleged damages? A staggering $50 million, citing emotional distress, lost professional opportunities, and the need for punitive deterrence. Sharpe's legal team fired back almost immediately, calling the entire complaint a fabricated attempt at a cash grab. While many initially expected a quiet settlement, Sharpe hinted at a potential 9-figure defamation countersuit, drawing battle lines for an all-out war. Legal motions began piling up in Clark County protective orders, subpoenas targeting encrypted messages, witness lists that read like a directory of Vegas nightlife. Yet none of that procedural drama matched the raw velocity of Katt Williams' unscripted commentary.
And he wasn't at a strip club, but his text messages have been revealed, and it's quite embarrassing for ESPN. So he used to be on First Take, and now they are putting that on ice.
Katt didn't ease into it. He opened with a jab so precise it's likely already being dissected in media classes. "America, understand this," he began, his voice dripping with mock seriousness. "When you hand a retired tight end 50 microphones, 3 networks, and enough tequila to sponsor the Cinco de Mayo parade, don't act surprised when controversy follows him home like a stray pit bull." The chat exploded. Capital letters flew faster than keyboards could register. He continued, hitting a nerve. "Y'all love that man's hot takes until the thermostat breaks, and suddenly you blaming the weather for being too honest?" Another line, referencing alleged demands made by the plaintiff, hit even harder, spawning countless imitation tweets, mashup memes, and short-looping videos that racked up tens of millions of views by lunchtime. There's something about Katt's rhythm, his cadence, that taps directly into the digital bloodstream. His sentences aren't just commentary, they're instant social media currency.
I do not think that the element is true. I do think that he has been behaving sloppily, and so that has caught up with him.
But Katt wasn't just cracking jokes, he pivoted into surprisingly sharp legal analysis, an angle few expected from a comedian known more for riffs on conspiracies and everyday life. Midstream, Williams broke down the difference between compensatory and punitive damages with a clarity some law professors might envy. Compensatory is the price tag for what you lost, he explained. Punitive is the judge saying, I want interest with attitude. He framed that massive $50 million figure not merely as a potential payout, but as a calculated public relations verdict before the verdict, suggesting the number itself was designed to damage Sharpe's reputation regardless of the legal outcome. Ironically, this breakdown went viral among college students cramming for business law finals, turning Katt Williams into an unlikely, unorthodox study guide.
So he took a screenshot of a text message, which clearly had to have been written by someone else, maybe his lawyer or his PR team. It wasn't written by him. And then he shared it onto X. So people were laughing at him going, you're not supposed to share. You're supposed to make it sound like it actually was written by you.
Almost immediately, the tremors reached the world of sports marketing. Shannon Sharpe is deeply embedded in lucrative endorsement deals. At least 4 major ones were active. There's the cognac brand playing on his famous taste, the bespoke suit company that outfits his television appearances, a health supplement startup leveraging his Hall of Fame physique, and an audio equipment firm tied to his popular podcast. Each of these contracts undoubtedly contains morality clauses, some generic about public disrepute, others potentially with explicit triggers related to litigation involving serious accusations like SA. As Katt hammered the optics, quipping, try selling luxury suits while your reputation is on layaway. Financial analysts reportedly began tweaking revenue forecasts for those associated companies. Within 24 hours, the first domino wobbled. One apparel partner quietly scrubbed Sharpe's images from its website, redirecting visitors to a generic seasonal banner. Industry watchers immediately flagged it as preemptive brand distancing, a sign of nervousness, even though no official statements were made.
So it appears the truth is that Shannon Sharpe essentially quit before he was fired. He wanted to avoid people kind of laughing at him or saying he was fired again. I don't wish him bad. I hope that he finds happiness. I don't particularly take him to be a happy or a well-rounded person.
Inside the headquarters of major networks like ESPN, the atmosphere reportedly resembled a fire drill without the alarms. Executives faced a tough choice. Address Katt's viral commentary head-on, potentially amplifying the controversy and risking legal exposure, or stay silent and appear complicit or out of touch. They ultimately chose a tightrope walk. On air, panelists vaguely acknowledged the existence of the lawsuit in abstract terms, then immediately pivoted to safer topics like the NFL draft, carefully leaving Katt Williams' name unspoken. This strategy angered many viewers on social media who accused the network of protecting a star personality. However, network lawyers likely advised extreme caution. Given the active litigation, even a single mischaracterized sentence on air could potentially become Exhibit C in a future defamation claim. It was a calculated move of containment.
She charging $25K a cheek, and it ain't no cheeks. No cheeks, and she ain't got no lips. She probably whistle when she talk.
While Katt's voice echoed across the internet and networks strategized, the silence from Shannon Sharpe himself was deafening. For 96 consecutive hours following Katt's stream, Sharpe's usually active social media feeds went dark. No workout clips, no cigar photos, no motivational quotes. For an influencer accustomed to daily engagement, behavioral psychologists suggest this kind of digital silence acts as a statement louder than any tweet storm. Naturally, conspiracy theorists jumped into the void, speculating about hush money negotiations or an imminent explosive countersuit. Sharpe's team eventually issued just one carefully worded email to select media outlets, simply reiterating faith in the judicial process and dismissing Katt Williams' viral roast as mere noise. That specific term, noise, only further energized Katt's supporters, who bristled at the suggestion their idol's commentary was just background chatter. This whole situation inevitably draws comparisons to other high-profile cases fought in the court of public opinion, like the Depp Heard trial. That Virginia courtroom battle unfolded globally like a serialized drama, fueled by viral TikToks, passionate live streams, and heavily edited clips that painted witnesses as heroes or villains long before a verdict. Katt Williams referenced this directly, issuing a stark warning to Sharpe's camp. If your legal team can't manage TikTok, depositions won't save you. It's a biting line because it holds a kernel of truth. In the digital age, reputational damage often solidifies in the public mind well before jurors even hear opening statements. The narrative war, Katt implies, is already raging online.
She charging $25K a cheek, and it ain't no cheeks. No cheeks, and she ain't got no lips. She probably whistle when she talk.
Let's briefly touch the legal ground. Nevada civil courts operate on a preponderance of evidence standard, basically tipping the scales just slightly to 51% certainty. Defense lawyers often try to exploit this thin margin, sometimes dragging out the discovery process, hoping to exhaust a plaintiff's resources. Katt spotlighted this strategy with another sharp quip. If you've got Louis Vuitton suit luggage for every court date, time is your co-counsel. He urged onlookers to watch the actual court filings, not just podcast gossip, stressing a crucial point. Jury selection could eventually hinge more on how many potential jurors saw his Instagram rant than on any sworn affidavit. Legal scholars agree. Studies show that pre-trial media exposure, especially in celebrity cases, can significantly skew outcomes. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest Sharpe's legal team is exploring a potential defamation counterclaim, not just against Jane Doe, but possibly against media outlets or even individuals who knowingly spread false information. Could Katt Williams be a target? Legally, it's a high bar. They'd likely need to prove actual malice, that Katt knew his statements were false or showed reckless disregard for the truth. Still, the threat can have a chilling effect. Katt's representatives responded preemptively and defiantly, stating their client stands by the principle of fair comment and would welcome being deposed under oath. This bravado perfectly mirrors Katt's onstage persona, fearless, combative, and always ready for a fight.
I know an auntie right now with all ass 49. Got more dimples than a golf ball. You will love it over there.
The financial fallout extends directly to Sharpe's podcasting empire, Club Shay Shay. While download numbers reportedly remain strong for now, advertisers are getting jittery. At least two smaller sponsors, one in fitness supplements, another in urban apparel, have reportedly paused their advertising buys, citing brand safety algorithms that automatically flag content associated with high-profile SA cases. If larger advertisers follow suit, the revenue hit could be substantial, potentially reaching 6 figures per month. That's a significant blow, even for someone with diversified income streams like Sharpe. Analysts point out that podcast ad contracts rarely guarantee payments if episodes breach certain controversy thresholds, so even if Sharpe ultimately wins in court, the short-term financial bleeding from lost ad revenue could be severe, adding to legal fees already projected to potentially exceed $3 million. Contrast this with Katt Williams' current trajectory. His stock, fueled by this controversy, has seemingly skyrocketed. Ticket resale sites show a reported 30% jump in prices for his upcoming tour dates. Streaming platforms have seen surges in plays for his older comedy specials. And the rumor mill is buzzing with suggestions that Netflix has already reached out about filming his next hour-long special. For a comedian who has historically thrived on controversy, this perfect storm of publicity and opportunity is like hitting the jackpot.
You should have knew as soon as she said put a big black baby in her what time it was. She don't even want the baby to grow. She want the baby to come out your size soon as she have it.
From a broader view, this entire interaction highlights how digital media flattens traditional hierarchies. 20 years ago, commentary on an NFL legend's legal troubles would be filtered through network news anchors and newspaper columns. Today, a single comedian with a smartphone can hijack the news cycle in real time, leaving major networks scrambling to catch up. Viewers crave the raw, unvetted reactions that feel authentic, even if they sometimes lack nuance. This immediacy is powerful. It can empower marginalized voices, but it can also crush careful consideration under the weight of viral trends. Looking ahead, the legal calendar shows a critical hearing scheduled just 3 weeks from now. This hearing will address Sharpe's motion to dismiss certain counts in the lawsuit. If the judge denies that motion, the discovery phase kicks into high gear. That's when things could get even messier. Sealed documents might leak, potentially revealing text messages, screenshots, maybe even security footage snippets. Each potential leak becomes fresh fuel for commentators like Katt. He predicted as much towards the end of his stream. Screenshots are digital cockroaches, he warned. Once you see one, trust me, there's a colony behind the fridge. That line itself became a meme, further embedding his commentary into the digital landscape.
I know one thing. If you're 54, you have no reason to be talking to a 19-year-old. She's 22 now. Shannon is 56. I'm so glad that audio of Monique went viral yesterday.
There's also the often overlooked insurance angle. High-profile figures like Sharpe usually carry personal liability insurance, but these policies often have exclusions for intentional misconduct or specific allegations like SA. If his insurance underwriters decide the claims fall under an exclusion and refuse to cover the legal cost or potential damages, Sharpe's personal financial exposure increases dramatically. Some insiders speculate this immense financial pressure might push towards a settlement regardless of guilt or innocence. Litigation economics can be brutal, sometimes forcing compromise even when someone feels wrongly accused. However, settling also carries its own stigma, as critics might interpret it as an admission of culpability. It's a classic DN if you do, DN if you don't scenario, explaining why these celebrity cases often become protracted, high-stakes chess matches.
Because it's true. Sit your old down and go find somebody your age and build a family with them. As I said yesterday, men, we need stability and we need discipline.
Amidst all this legal and financial maneuvering, the human element involving Jane Doe risks getting lost. Protected by anonymity, she remains largely a cipher, yet is simultaneously subjected to intense online speculation and scrutiny. Her supporters argue anonymity is crucial for protection. Skeptics claim it hinders transparency. Katt touched on this complex friction, remarking pointedly, "Blindfold justice sees no faces, but social media lifts the blindfold, then sells tickets." It's a phrase that offended some advocates but resonated with many viewers tired of trial by #spectacles. Sports culture loves a redemption story. Fans often forgive athletes' transgressions if their performance shines. If Shannon Sharpe emerges legally cleared, he could potentially reframe his narrative as a survivor of unfair accusations or cancel culture. However, Katt Williams' viral critique actively complicates that possibility. By preemptively mocking the idea of a quick comeback, "Don't give me the comeback of the year speech while the ink's still wet on dismissal orders," Katt effectively shrinks the window for a sympathy tour. PR strategists trying to rebuild Sharpe's image now face a much tougher challenge. Clearing his name legally won't automatically erase the comedic shorthand Katt has already etched into public memory. This entire saga is already becoming a case study, with one media studies program reportedly introducing a module called the Katt Williams effect to analyze how real-time comedic intervention shapes legal atmospherics and public perception. It signals a shift where comedians aren't just observers, they're active players influencing reputational outcomes.
Now, this woman is alleging that Shannon Sharpe her multiple times over the course of a 2-year relationship. The relationship that they had was, he tells her and threatens her allegedly to say that like he will her if she ever does that again. But the part of it, she says that she was allegedly anally twice and that it was very, very brutal.
So where does this tangled web lead? The courtroom calendar, public opinion polls, sponsored decisions, and social media analytics are all interconnected. A damaging leak during discovery could trigger more sponsor exits. Sponsor exits could increase pressure to settle. Settlement talks could spark even more commentary from figures like Katt. It's a relentless feedback loop, supercharged by algorithms designed to reward controversy with engagement. As of now, Sharpe's continued public silence creates a palpable tension. Will he release a carefully scripted video statement? Will he address it on his own podcast, flanked by lawyers? Or will he use a platform like ESPN for a more controlled message? Whatever path he chooses, it must now account for the demolition job Katt Williams performed from his living room. Katt turned the spotlight into a laser beam, ready to magnify any perceived misstep, and Katt shows no signs of backing down. Sources close to him suggest he's already compiling follow-up material, potentially fueled by information crowdsourced from DMs and reactions to his initial stream. Every new court filing is potential fodder. His relentless adaptability makes him a nightmare for any PR team hoping this controversy will simply fade away with the next news cycle. For viewers watching this unfold, keep an eye on 3 key milestones: that upcoming dismissal hearing, the deadline for preliminary witness lists, and the rumored release window for Katt Williams' next comedy special. These points will likely dictate the next major shifts in momentum. If the case survives dismissal, expect discovery fireworks. If it is dismissed, the plaintiff might appeal, generating fresh headlines. And if Katt's next special drops on a major platform like Netflix, it could immortalize his take on this saga for years, potentially cementing a particular narrative about Sharpe's legal troubles regardless of the final court ruling.
Because at that point she said that they were in a they were in an actual relationship. They were in Vegas together. So when that happened, she had already kind of been, in this thing where he's verbally abusive, allegedly, but she thought that they were together.
In the end, this clash between Katt Williams' incendiary comedy and Shannon Sharpe's legal crisis perfectly illustrates our modern media landscape. Blurry lines between entertainment and news, flattened hierarchies where a smartphone can outpace a news studio, and legal battles fought as fiercely in comment sections as in courtrooms. Katt Williams didn't just take shots at Shannon Sharpe. He fundamentally redrew the map on which this reputational war is being waged. Sharpe's future, Jane Doe's credibility, and the wider conversation about serious accusations now exist within this new volatile geometry. As the legal filings mount and the punchlines cut deeper, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. Stay tuned because it's guaranteed to evolve, and we'll be watching every twist, every turn, every viral clip, trying to make sense of who's really winning the narrative war, both inside the courtroom and perhaps more importantly, outside of it.